We have 215 sure votes for Hakeem Jeffries. If enough Republicans vote president, we could actually elect Hakeem Jeffries, not Mike Johnson, as Speaker.
I mean, is that possible? Could that happen today?
It is numerically possible, absolutely.
Oh, listen to them. Listen to them. They're salivating. They're all excited. Even Abelio Acosta is all moist. Which is a repulsive thought in itself, isn't it? It is the Chris Plant Show. Mike Opelka in one more hour before the vacation ends and Chris returns on Monday. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you. Yes, it is Speaker Election Day. Congress is back in business today. The House and the Senate. The senators will be sworn in by a very unhappy Kamala Harris. And she'll have to face a lot of the people that she heard some nasty things from. And she said some nasty things about during the campaigns. But the big news, the big event happening around noon will be the Speaker election. Donald Trump is hoping that he will get Mike Johnson elected Speaker on one vote. And he is telling CNN that Johnson will do very well in the vote and says he has been in touch with some of the holdouts. Yesterday we were hearing that Mr. Trump had not been making calls, but things change the closer we get to the voting, which happens around noon, right after this program ends. So it's going to be fun to watch, and I will be there with the popcorn, ready to go. I'm wondering how long before the mainstream media, the cable channels, etc., create the kind of things that are set up as it relates to football games. You know, where we have pregame shows and they start talking about, well, we're going to watch for this player to do well. Here are the 12 individuals we want to keep our eyes on during today's vote. You know, they could have a representative from Politico and Axios and the New York Times and the Washington Post and him all up there on a panel. And we could have the punditry going on. We'll keep an eye on Victoria Spartz to see if she will finally commit. And what about Chip Roy and Andy Biggs and Tim Burchett and, of course, Lauren Boebert, who has been non-committal? And what about Ralph Norman of South Carolina? The Freedom Caucus hardliners are to be monitored at all times. And then the critical Democrat attendance. Well, even Nancy Pelosi has flown back from her recuperation from hip replacement to be there to make sure she can vote. And we just heard from Jerry Connolly of Virginia, who is really excited about the fact that mathematically it's possible for Hakeem Jeffries to become the speaker. Yes, I had my breath taken away for just a minute at that possibility too. Because if there are enough Republicans who vote present and do not vote yes or no, then that diminishes the pool of votes and changes the numbers on how this works. And so 215 for Jeffries could be important. And they will all vote in lockstep. So the drama is built into today. And we will watch. We will play along. And I, for one, as I said earlier, I'm interested, but I'm also a believer that there are enough Republicans saying, hey, look, do you really want to be that embarrassed? You know, it's less than 2 years till the next election, and you got here. Don't screw this up. So we'll watch it, see if there's any updates on it. There was one very interesting take from Jim Jordan, who was caught just before he stepped into his office. He was in the halls of the Capitol building today, and a CNN reporter grabbed him, and Jim Jordan gave us a little bit of news.
Do you think he's going to do it on one round?
I think so. I think probably Thomas is, as far as I know, Thomas is the only no vote.
Do you think that some of those conservatives who've been asking for demands that they're going to get there? Like, what's going to get Victoria Spartz to yes or Chip Roy to yes?
I think the mandate that people sent to us on November 5th, reduce crime, reduce prices, secure the border, stop the weaponization of government. That's what the election is about, and the best way to deal with that is to come together ASAP and get after what we told the voters we were going to do. So I think that's the motivation for us to elect Mike on the first ballot and get after, doing what we told the voters we were going to do.
We're going to get after it. We're going to get after it, and so we'll see. Jim Jordan, it was a kind of a half-hearted endorsement of the first vote potential, but I checked back, and yeah, it looks like Mike Johnson's still at just about 91%. We're rounding up from 90.7%. And then everybody else who's behind Johnson, Emmer has 2% possibility, Jordan, Scalise, Jeffries, Donalds, Massey, and even Elon Musk sitting about 1%. So there are some folks who are willing to wager on this, and the wagers are saying that it looks like it's Johnson. So we'll see. And we're monitoring the other stories as they're shaken out. We talked a little bit about the terrorist who killed 15 people in New Orleans and 30 people still fighting, some of them for their lives, some starting to recover from the attack on the morning of New Year's Day. It was 2:15 in the morning. Technically, it was still part of the New Year's Eve. And yesterday, Joe Biden showed up and gave us another update of things we pretty much already knew. But the outgoing president of the United States also managed again to embarrass himself and the country by saying something that I think is just flat out rude, dumb. He was talking about the people of New Orleans and trying to do the presidential thing where you say, hey, the city's great. The people are fantastic. They're so brave, and we support New Orleans. It's New Orleans strong, the stuff we do after tragedies happen to an area. But he just can't help himself.
In the meantime, like I said last night, New Orleans is a city of tremendous spirit. You can't keep it down. You really can't. And we're seeing that today. The Sugar Bowl is back on. Kickoff is going to take off very shortly. If I don't get this damn thing done, we're going to be in real trouble.
So you're yucking it up less than 24 hours after 15 people are dead, 15 families planning funerals. Yeah, look down at his watch again. He's got a habit of looking down at his watch at inappropriate times. Yeah, I'm going to get in trouble. We don't get this thing wrapped up right here. Yeah, we got to get it wrapped up so we get the football game going. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Who's laughing, too? Who in the press room is laughing at that? I don't know.
And the FBI has handed control of Bourbon Street back to local officials. Security of the area has been reinforced, and they should be open for business later today, the Bourbon Street. People in New Orleans are sending an unmistakable message. They will not let this attack or the attackers' deluded ideology overcome us. None of us should fear that he'll overcome us.
That's real confidence building, isn't it? What was that? Can we get that sentence diagrammed?
Message. They will not let this attack or the attackers' deluded ideology overcome us. None of us should fear that he'll overcome us.
I bet the teleprompter farted. The teleprompter gave a little shudder and then stopped, and it fooled him. He was fooled easily by the teleprompter.
We're going to continue to relentlessly pursue ISIS and other terrorist organizations where they are, and they'll find no safe harbor here. I'll continue to provide updates in New Orleans and Las Vegas as the facts develop.
Well, we really don't need you to update us, sir. I'm just saying. We have pretty good updates coming out of the press moments, the press briefings that we have. That's probably the best thing to do. That would be good. But laughing, it's not good. He also yesterday, the president, outgoing president of the United States, did what we told you he was going to do, and that was award the second highest civilian award to a bunch of folks, including Liz Cheney. And there was a ceremony in the White House for this yesterday. in case you missed it.
Elizabeth L. Cheney, for putting the American people over party.
So Elizabeth L. Cheney gets the highest civilian, or second highest civilian award, the Presidential Citizens Medal. And I never realized her middle name starts with an L. It's Elizabeth Loser Cheney. Is that what that is? But she gets a massive round of applause and walks up and stands next to Joe Biden, and he grabs her hand. They take the medal from the soldier and give it to her, then pose for the pictures, and everyone in the press who's gathered stands up. She gets a standing ovation. Yeah, for breaking the law and getting rid of all the evidence as it relates to the January 6th committee, the one that was not a bipartisan committee by any stretch of the imagination. Benny Thompson also got the same medal. We can only imagine what's yet to come out of this White House in relationship to other awards and pardons, because I don't think he's done with the pardons. I certainly don't think he's done with the pardons, not even close to being done with the pardons. Let me grab a couple of calls because the phones are just on fire today. I know it's a Friday, so everybody's very engaged, and we appreciate it. The number 888-630-9625. Jasmine's doing an incredible job on the phones. Let's bounce to Bruce in Maryland. Hello, Bruce. Welcome to the Chris Plant Show.
Hello, Mike. How are you?
I'm good, sir. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you and your family.
Thank
This
you.
is a quickie, and I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller. I saw yesterday that the flag disappeared off the truck. Someone showed photos after the incident in New Orleans, and the flag was gone, and nobody knows what happened to it. Now, maybe somebody published something somewhere. So I went and I said, well, the FBI came out yesterday and said that there's no connection to the outside with this guy. This guy is strictly domestic terrorist. And I said, okay, well, how did he get his ISIS flag?
And how did he get radicalized, Bruce? That's the question. How did he pledge to ISIS last summer? And what about the mosque he attends locally in Houston, which we have been told gave orders to its members not to talk to the media or any investigators, but to talk to CARE, the council.
Yeah, but within 24 hours, all this comes out by the great discovery of the FBI, which it seems like they haven't discovered where they actually work now, much less solve this case so quickly. So I went on the internet and I said, okay, I'll put a general thing in the internet. Where can I buy in the U.S. an ISIS flag? Okay, none of the flag stores, people that sell it, says we don't carry them. Okay, it's the black flag with the Al Raya, which
I know the flag.
Nobody has them, right? So nobody sells them. And the ones I do see are people that got them in Iraq while they were there, stationed over there, and they're willing to sell them on eBay, or they go overseas to find them. Okay, so I'm saying, doesn't
Bruce,
the FBI think maybe somebody might have provided this to this guy?
Well, I'm betting they're chasing that down now, but just as a little bit of advice, I don't know if I'd be using my home computer to be searching where can I buy an ISIS flag. I'm just saying, you might want to, maybe you have that protection wall that people have on their computers. I don't know if I'd be searching for stuff like that. You use the public library computer for that. But yeah, this is a really good point. Where the hell did he get the ISIS flag? We need to know more. Let's hope the FBI is transparent going forward. All right, taking a break. It's Opelka in for Plant on the Chris Plant Show.
Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at washingtontimes.com/Chris.
It is the Chris Plant Show with a little bit of the Doors, a little Peace Frog, I guess, kicking into Friday with a Friday mood. It's Mike Opelka in for Chris, who returns on Monday. And breaking news about 30 minutes ahead of the speaker vote, Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG, as the cool kids in D.C. call her, has offered what Mediaite is referring to as a surprise endorsement for Speaker Mike Johnson. And she said that she has declared it's time to put aside the infighting. So we shall see where this leads going forward. We shall see what's happening. There's a lot of drama in D.C. today, and how many times are we going to hear the phrase, well, this is how the sausage is made. You're being shown a little bit of the sausage making. No, just get the job done. Surprisingly, I'm not the only one who thinks this. I'm not the only one who wants us to just get on with it. Chuck is in Cedar Hill, Tennessee, and joining the Chris Plant Show today. Hello, Chuck. Welcome to the program.
Hello, sir. How you doing
Yes,
today?
I'm good, Chuck. You've got the floor, sir. You have advice for all the politicians in D.C.?
Oh, you're damn right. And first, I want to thank you for taking my call. But, you know, I in 2019, I moved out of living in California for 40 years, been born there, got out of the service there, and now it's the Socialistic Republic of California. I traveled my entire life on jobs. I know people all over the United States, and nobody that I know voted for these people. And nobody that I know likes the current situation in Washington, D.C. It's like, do your job. Stop the talk. You've lost credibility already. Do what we're asking you to do and knock off the damn drama, because now you have to re-earn our respect. All right? And you're going to have to earn it by deeds, not by flapping your gums, not by getting in front of the television. We're tired of it. I know I am. I'm exhausted of it. You degraded the military. You know, and as far as these bombers, I don't know if I can mention anything on that, but there's something seriously wrong with the Army. I'm a veteran from the 70s, and nobody I know ever would come out and attack their own country. We love our country. We're not vetting these people properly. There's something seriously wrong that has to be fixed.
Well, Chuck, we can go all the way back to 2009 and Major Hassan Nadal, the guy who shot up Fort Hood in Texas. And remember, that was a guy on the inside. And yes, there are incidents of people. When you got 1 million plus people who have volunteered to serve this country, there are bound to be a couple that get through. But you're right. Thank you, and number one, for your service. I appreciate that, and I'm glad you escaped the Socialist Republic of California. And I think we all need to do what we did about a week and a half ago, or 2 weeks ago today, when everybody called their reps and said, cut the crap and get on to business. It worked with that giant 1,500-page bill. It probably could work here, too. It's Opelka in for Plant. It is the Chris Plant Show. Mike Opelka in for Chris Plant, who returns on Monday, and I know he is charged and ready to go. And Monday will be equally as consequential as today, I am predicting, as we are anticipating today's speaker vote in less than a half an hour. The first one, maybe more than one, we shall see. I know the Democrats are all hot and bothered about the possibility that they could snooker everybody and get Hakeem Jeffries voted in as Speaker of the House. That's a fever dream. We might need to add that belief to the quademic that is being told is upon us. We've been told that there are face mask mandates returning in multiple states as doctors are warning about 4 viral infections. The quademic is out there. Oh, it's the bird flu. It's the H1N1. It's COVID still there. It's the norovirus. It's probably monkeypox too, but we're not allowed to say monkeypox anymore because the monkey lobby is so powerful. and pox. Yeah, I don't know. I think you people who believe that Hakeem Jeffries could be the speaker without having the majority, you're high and you should be drug tested. But we'll see what happens. Again, in half an hour. And then Monday, the speaker is supposed to preside over the beginning of this Congress, and then we'll watch Kamala Harris preside over the certification of the election, which will just be fun, won't it? It really will. The other thing that I'm looking forward to, and I'd like to get your take on this as well, the press room, the White House press room is going to undergo a significant change in 16 and a half days when Donald John Trump returns to the White House, and the new rules for the press room will include more participation from new media. We've already been told the old guard is not going to have the same control over those seats in the press room, that you're going to see more people who are in social media positions. Granted, they will have significant followers on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or Rumble or wherever. But it's not going to be reserved, oh, this seat goes to the AP, this seat goes to the New York Times, this seat goes to whomever. It's going to be a new world order. So as we have our ongoing discussions here throughout the end of the show, I'm curious, who would you like to see thrown out and who would you like to see added in? I told Michael Piercy he deserves press credentials, although I don't know if he wants to work 2 jobs, but that would be pretty cool to have the Chris Plant Show embedded in the White House press briefing room so that every day we could get an update. Just throwing that out there. Who would you like to see shown the door, and who would you like to see? Obviously CNN and MSNBC instantly, and you have to regain. There have to be new standards that you have to hit numbers of actual audience in order to get there. I would love to see, this is my own personal favorite, I'd love to see Tucker Carlson have access. Now, he may not show up every day, but he could have a representative who could be in the White House press briefing room. But who do you think should be there? 888-630-9625. Jasmine's on the phones. I also want to go back to the phones because we've been talking about the New Orleans situation and the Las Vegas situation, and now we're being told that they're not connected. There's no connection at all. Never mind they use the same auto rental company. Never mind both guys were in the military, one's still active. Never mind that they both rented electric vehicles. Never mind any of that. Nothing to see here. I just need to know. And you guys have questions, too. For example, John is in Missouri calling the Chris Plant Show. John, thanks for holding on, sir. You have a thought on the Cybertruck from Vegas?
Well, all vehicles have a VIN number. That's what you use to go get your tag.
Sure.
And it's a lot of people don't understand. Yeah, it's on the dash and it's on a sticker on the door on your vehicles. But going clear back into the 80s, there are 5 different locations in any vehicle. It's mandatory. Some of them even have more. But where that same VIN number will appear. So a certain frame rail on one car, or maybe, a good example was the Timothy McVeigh thing in Oklahoma City.
Yes, sir.
You know, the bomb was devastating, but do you know they got that VIN number from a part tag on the rear axle of that vehicle. They could not come up with a VIN number. That vehicle had been so destroyed. But the little aluminum tag on the rear end had enough information to tell them the VIN number, and then from there, all they did was go back to the rental company, and most rental companies have cameras trained on their front counters now, so you can actually see who rented a vehicle.
John, excuse me for interrupting you. Are you taking us back to the Oklahoma City bombing and trying to say that there's some mystery or something that, because we're talking about the Cybertruck, which didn't blow up.
You're asking, well, the one, I thought you said the one in Vegas blew up.
No, it did. Well, there was an explosion, but the tires didn't even deflate. And Elon Musk has said he could get that car back on the road pretty quickly and would like to show off just the integrity of his cars. The structure, if you remember when he introduced the car, he brought it on stage and had a guy with a sledgehammer hitting the sides of the stainless steel to show you how tough it was. And then they actually took it out in the desert, I think, and fired a gun at the windows to see if they could shoot through the windows, and they couldn't. They cracked them a little bit. There were marks on them. But no, it looks like this vehicle, it got sort of destroyed. The questions I have relate to the alleged driver and what we do and don't know about the driver. But yeah, every one of these vehicles, especially the electric vehicles, when you plug it into the charger, it sends it back to the mothership information. Hey, this car with this VIN number charged at this supercharger for X number of minutes. And like I said, they've got him traced. His entire route is traced. He traveled 750 miles and charged 8 times. So there's no doubt about this truck and where it came from and where it ended up. In my mind, the only question is about who and why it happened, who drove it and why it happened. But I thank you for being there. Appreciate you. And speaking of that, who and why, Mike is on the phone in Gainesville, Virginia. Hey, Mike, welcome to the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Mr. Opelka. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday-lujah to you, or as we are saying in our house, Riley-lujah to you, as my nephew won his tennis match today, Riley. So we're happy about that. But what's on your mind on all of this?
That was really well done. Amazing. Ace on the final play. Pretty good.
Yes, sir.
J.D. Vance should be the nominee for the speaker, temporary speaker, J.D. Vance. That's the logical choice, I think, because he can't remain speaker when he becomes vice president. So 2 weeks of hell for the Democrats with J.D. Vance as the speaker. But we used to have dental records as the way of identifying burned bodies, and these guys were in the military. So if you burn up a military guy, all those military records of their health and their dental records would be the easiest way to make sure you know who the guy is.
Yeah, I think we're going to get that identity pretty quickly, because I know a lot of us are pressing and saying, hey, let's stop messing around. Let's get the transparency. You heard us playing the clips from Senator Kennedy of Louisiana yesterday, and he has said he will pledge to raise fresh hell if he does not get answers. And it means a lot to him because this is his state. This is his city. It's very important. Great point on J.D. Vance. Although, Mike, did you see J.D. Vance at Mar-a-Lago at the golf course with Donald Trump yesterday?
Yeah, Eric Schmidt.
He was wearing shorts, and it just looked like somebody brought their kid to the golf course. I wanted to take him aside and go, dude, this isn't the Live Tour. You're at Mar-a-Lago. You're the vice president-elect. You got to wear big boy pants. It was just weird seeing, because Donald Trump always dresses with long pants and a perfect golf shirt. And they had another guy with him, but there's J.D. Vance in shorts. It just, come on. Somebody's got to whisper in his ear. I like the guy, but I threw a penalty flag on him. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you being there. Oh, let's get another Mike in here in Chicago listening on the great WLS. Hello, Mike. Welcome to the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Mike, how are you? Love you. Love when you fill in. Love Chris Plant. You North Shore guys really kill me.
Thank you. Yeah. We have our own union.
You do. I grew up in Arlington Heights, so kind of close to you guys.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So in the press room, right front and center, let's put Jim Acosta and Don Lemon, so we could have Trump go, "What a stupid question." Why would you even ask a question like that? Just for entertainment, I think that would be great.
You know, Mike, I had thought about denying them would be great pleasure, just to say no. But this is actually better. You've thought this through because this would be great content to have Donald Trump wander into the press room once a week when his press secretary decides to turn over the mic to him and let Mr. Trump have at it with Mr. Fake News, Emilio Acosta, and Don the Lemon, as we like to call him. Well, that's a really good idea, Mike. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Wow,
what
that's
a
pretty
stupid
fun.
question that is. What a stupid question. But
Oh,
I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
Oh, what a great idea. Great idea. One more quick one here. Mackenzie's in North Carolina. Hello, Mackenzie. Welcome to the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
I'm good.
Doing
I'm good.
great,
Thanks for
excellent.
being here.
Yeah, I just wanted to call because when you said to call your congressman, I did. And a little guy answered the phone, and I said I just wanted to make sure that he was voting for Mike Johnson today. And he said, "Oh yeah, I'll make sure to let him know that. I'm not sure if he's going to vote for Mike Johnson." I was like, "Has no one else called about this today?" And he was like, "No, I haven't gotten any calls." And it just made me think that people other than just like senior citizens that sit home and watch, Price is Right all day need to call their congressman. It needs to be all of us calling and saying, listen, especially Thomas Massey's district, that tell him he's being a D-bag and just go ahead and vote for Mike Johnson. Nobody else wants this job. They can't find anyone else that will take it. There's no, consistency within the party on anyone else. So just let the guy do it. And then as long as he follows what Trump tells him to do, which seems like he is doing other than on that stupid bill, then we'll be all right. So just everybody call and let your congressman know that this is the guy and we need to get through it.
I think we learned a lesson 2 weeks ago, as I said, when the continuing resolution kerfuffle happened and the calls flooded the congressional switchboards. And Mackenzie, thank you for reaching out and doing what we're supposed to do, is be participants in our representational republic here. Well done, Mackenzie. Thank you for calling in, letting us know, and thank you for calling who is your congressman, by the way?
It's David Rouser, and I think he's pretty conservative, but I don't know if people are assuming that their congressman is going to do what they want. But obviously with that previous bill, we need to not assume anything. We need to make sure that our congressmen are voting what we want because that's what they went there for. It's not about their little prom committee and homecoming queen stuff. We need to make sure they're doing what we want.
That's right. Yeah, we don't need any more post offices being named for their friends and family. We need responsible fiscal government here, and we'll get into it. Thank you, Mackenzie, and have a great weekend. Appreciate you. It's Mike Opelka. I've been here all week. When we come back, we'll do a wrap-up on this week. We will, as they say, put a bow on the show and drive you to the weekend. It's the fabulous Chris Plant Show. It is the Chris Plant Show, and we are minutes away from not just the end of the show, but the vote for Speaker. And I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of drama on the cables about this. Predictions, projections. We will see how it comes out. I still hold what the Polymarket betting says, that it's going to be Mike Johnson. And it might happen in one vote. It may not. We shall see. It's going to be fun. Yeah. What else have you got going on a Friday? You got to pay attention to what's going on, who's going to be in charge. I did want to share something with you since we played some stuff from Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana, his reactions to what happened in his town. I came upon a clip from just about a year ago of John Kennedy, and this is one of the reasons we love this guy, because he brings the clarity with a unique ability to get the message across.
I think it's time for the American people to wake up and smell the incompetence. I mean, the border is wide open, and as I've said before, That's man-made, and the man's name is Joe Biden. And if the White House, how can I put this? If the White House were a football team and performed like this, we would have already fired the coach, the athletic director, and the mascot. And Americans want better, and it keeps getting worse. Yeah,
it's just well done, and it's going to get better in a matter of days. In 16 and a half days, it's going to get better with the inauguration of Donald Trump. But what has to happen before that is you have to have a Speaker of the House. You have to have things moving forward, the certification of the election, and then Kamala has to. I keep laughing because Kamala Harris is going to have to sign it. And today she has to swear in a bunch of senators, a whole bunch of senators. Apparently we were confusing something on the Cybertruck explosion out in Las Vegas. So before we get out of here, let's see if we can clear this up. Michael in Woodbridge, Virginia. What did we screw up, Michael?
I think a couple of your callers are confused about the confusion about the Cybertruck. The whole thing about the Cybertruck now is I don't question that it's Bob in the truck. I don't question that Bob is a 10th Special Forces Group Master Sergeant out of Germany who was on leave. The question is, why in God's green earth would a 10th Special Forces Group Master Sergeant make such a crappy bomb? These are the guys who literally will play with C4, heat their MREs with it just to entertain themselves because it freaks out regular soldiers that they're playing with C4. Why would the guy show up with 15 gallons of gas and some road flares that are not properly sequenced and invented to make it an effective product? This looks very uncomfortably suspicious coming from a Special Forces operator. Now, I don't know what tier this guy was, but he's a Master Sergeant in 10 Special Forces Group. That means he has access not only to knowledge, but to products that he could have used to make a much better, much more efficient and effective device. And I think so, that one that was called about your VIN numbers and things like that, I think maybe that's where that confusion is, because now it's shifted from, does this look like a Master Sergeant did this, or does it look like the Master Sergeant's playing the patsy in this? And I don't know that we ever get an answer to that any more than we've gotten an answer to a lot of stuff in the last several years from the Department of Just Us.
Michael, you bring up an excellent point, but I have great hope that once Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and a few others selected by Donald Trump are in office, we're going to get answers. And that's what we hope for. Thanks to everybody who took part this week. Thanks to everybody who helped me this week and last week. Michael Piercy, you crushed it. Jasmine, appreciate you. Until next time, Chris Plant returns Monday. And it's Mike Opelka reminding you, testudo, my friends, testudo.